Okay, wherever you are, thank you so much for joining us once again for another interesting time here when we talk about community development projects in the Niger Delta. And we have been taking you through this series. And if you haven't seen our previous videos, please just check the link below in the comment section. In the description section of the video, you will be able to see the links to previous videos. And if you also would like to stay in touch to know when new videos drop about community development projects in the Niger Delta, I also urge you to subscribe to this channel, and you can be sure you will follow us as we journey through. 2 times in a week, we'll try to drop videos and try to talk about the efforts being made to be able to have development in the Niger Delta. So today we are back here. My name is Charles Nwahiwe. I have my colleagues from Neokecci Multi-Concepts. We work together on this. We all work with Neokecci Multi-Concepts. I have Ernest Uke with me, and I have Sophia with me too. So without much ado, we want to get into the subject for today, which is planning community development projects. What are the process that are being taken in this planning? So I'd like to quickly bring in my colleague, Sophia. So Sophia, take it from here.
Thank you very much. You would agree with me that it will be very difficult to achieve a feat without a plan. And this is one major problem of development in the Niger Delta. Many communities don't have development plans. They just execute as it comes to mind, and this leads to haphazard development process, which is not ideal. For development to be successful, every community in the Niger Delta needs a community development plan, CDP, which I'll be referring to as I go on, from which projects are to be selected for execution. Now, what is the objective of the CDP? The objective of the CDP is to prefer an effective plan which would facilitate the development of the community. So, you would agree with me that it is very necessary for every community intending to be developed have a community development plan. But how do we assemble a community development plan? How do we draft a community development plan? If you follow from the last episode we had on this series, you would notice that we talked about the SLA exercise. So when we do the SLA, carry out the SLA exercise, SLA, Sustainable Livelihood Assessment exercise, it reveals the needs of the people. And the data generated from this SLA is used to facilitate the CDP. There are principles that also guide the drafting of this CDP, Community Development Plan, which are internationally and domestically recognized. These principles are mainly contained in the United Nations SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and the Nigeria Federal Government Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP. And so what we do, the SDGs are 17 in number, and the ERGPs are 5 in number. What we do is that we try to tailor these projects to achieve these goals, the goals and the focus of the SDGs and the ERGP. So we look at the basic profile of the community first that we intend to draft a CDP for. We look at their sociocultural makeup, their economic and political profile. We look at their infrastructural capacity. What amenities do they have? Do they already have power supply? Do they already have good education structures? We also look at their human capital development. Do they have programs in place already to cater for this? We assess their livelihood systems, and then we try to compare the outcomes from this assessment. Then we do a SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats to further assess the community. Then finally, their development constraints are prioritized with solutions, which we do using the needs assessments. So the needs and then the solutions are ranked or prioritized. From these prioritized needs, we draw up a community development plan. And the community development plan is usually for a particular time frame, say 5 years, so that these community development plans can further be broken down, and every year there's a work plan to meet the needs of the people. The community development plan also caters for planning for monitoring and evaluation of projects that will be executed. So this community development plan becomes a reference document in the course of initiating projects. We don't just pull projects out of our minds, no. We follow the community development plan, and so development goes through a process, and the objectives that you want to achieve with this project are met from time to time. So this is a major aspect to planning community development projects. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sophia, for that. It's been a good one, trying to help us unpack the process for being able to plan for projects, being able to plan for development, being able to have a grasp of how the communities can have better livelihoods. So, like Sophia has mentioned, yeah, there are steps that are taken, and they are all tailored towards best practice, and they are all nosedive into the bigger picture, yeah, the UN Sustainable Development Goals, yeah, and of course the National Economic Recovery Growth Plan. All of these things work hand in hand, and all the plans are put together. Definitely, when this process is followed, of course, you know, it helps to get better results. In previous videos, we have talked about how the community themselves also play a key role, and how the capacity of community representatives are also enhanced to enable them to play that role. If you haven't seen those videos, you can always check the links below in the description section of this video. You'll be able to see the links to those videos, and then you can follow and be able to get a grasp of what we have done previously. So going forward on today's edition of this program, yes, now that we have seen that process from that bit that my colleague Sophia has talked about, now the next question is we need to look at the angle of baseline studies, yeah, because it's usually good to have a grasp of where the community is before we start looking at where they need to go to. So I'd like to invite my colleague Ernest to, of course, step up and be able to talk about this. Ernest, take it from here.
Okay, before we talk about the baseline studies, which is a kind of which complements the CDP, I want to clearly say that out of your CDP, you have what we call the annual work plan. So what is this annual work plan? Like my colleague Sophia has mentioned, the CDP is for 5 years. So in this space of time, the work is broken down. So each year we have projects that need to be completed. So why do we have this? Because definitely we know that we have a limitation of funds and resources to carry out these developmental projects. So what we do is to try and break it down in such a way that yes, we can do a particular one for this year and the next ones in subsequent years. And also part of the CDP, you also have what we call the development partners. So yes, the key sponsor of this GMOU model is the SPDC JV, but we try to look at for how we can attract funding from other agencies of government or other companies that actually work in the area. So in the CDP, you have not just the projects, you have the estimates cost, how much the project is going to cost in estimate. They will also look at how the funding will be what generated. So it's more like a budget. You talk about you want to do this, then next, how do you generate a fund to do that? Then, having done all this, if we are to move forward, we need to know what is on ground, what is actually the situation of things. Like my mentioned, the infrastructural capacity. So what is this all about? We try to make sure to look at what is the state of education, what is the state of roads, transportation facilities, the state of water facilities, and so on, and the health infrastructure as well. So all this helps us to try and monitor the trend of development. It's more like a storytelling that falls between pre-engagement or pre-execution of the CDP and post-engagement or post-execution of the CDP. So instead of just doing things and not looking back to review what we are doing, we try to put the baseline studies in place, which is actually annually in most cases. Every year we have the SLA revalidation, then we also have the baseline studies. So in that baseline studies, we can actually now find out that at this particular period of time, we have done this and this is left undone. And when that is the case, it also helps to review the method that is put in place. So if a particular method of executing this project is not working out, and we find out that in the CDP, we aimed at achieving a particular goal for this year, and it's not achieved through what we see from the baseline studies, then we have to review the method, we have to review the planning, and make sure that everything actually goes on well. So at the end of it, you will have an all-round development that is clearly monitored, a development that is clearly followed up to make sure that we actually have these things done in the right way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, my colleague there, Ernest, for also being able to bring that part of our work to bear. So basically, that has been how we plan towards community development projects. So we have seen the model that we're working with, which is the GMOU model, the Global Memorandum of Understanding. And this model clearly spells out the process to be followed. And in this series of videos, we have been looking at the various angles, the various steps, the various processes that make up this model and how we have been able to put it, deploy it in real time, and the results that has been able to come out of it all. So, Ernest, thank you so much, because we know that in subsequent videos, we are also going to talk about a bit more about the other bits and pieces about the GMOU model and how it has been able to deliver measurable development in various communities across the Niger Delta. So we like to really urge you to make it a date with us on a regular basis, twice every week, on Tuesdays and on Thursdays every week. We try to drop these videos to really help to just shed a little light on how this model was, but most importantly, how it has been deployed, how the results that we can see. And because we are active participants in deploying this model, the GMOU model, in several communities in the Niger Delta, that's why we can actually share real life experience with you. So make it a date with us. Just go down and click the subscribe button or the like button for our pages and channels, and so that you can be able to follow this discussion. It's been very wonderful coming your way again today. So community development projects, how the people that manage it, how their capacity is built, we've talked about it. You can check it out in our previous videos. And we have also talked about the process of having this sustainable livelihood assessment. We talked about it in the last video. We've also mentioned it in this one. And of course, the baseline studies that go into preparation to really have the community development plans, which are also tailored towards the sustainable development goals of the UN and, of course, the economic recovery growth plan of our country. So It's been very lovely having you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being with us today. And so from our end here, Neokecci Multi-Concepts, we really like to say that we are happy you joined us today. So from our own end here, it's bye from us from here. So just in a few seconds, Ernest and Sophia, do you have any parting shots before we say bye to our viewers for today?
Okay. Talking about, we have actually looked at all these different facets of the work, and it's all geared towards making us understand that there is development still taking place in the Niger Delta, even though we have these whole issues of underdevelopment. We still have some level of coordination that is taking place, especially in these communities that are being featured in these videos. And it's a wish that you always come and check, and you see more of all those development projects as we go
on.
Okay, Sophia, any parting shots from your end before we knock it out for today?
Okay, I want us to know that you shouldn't zero your mind that development in Niger Delta is not possible. It is possible, and it is happening. The Niger Delta is developing, although gradually. And I believe that if we can see these videos, like, subscribe, listen to them and learn from them, we can all partner together and develop the Niger Delta. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. It's been a very lovely time. My name is Charles Mahiwe. I've been talking with Ernest Uke, my colleague, and Sophia Ojabu, my colleague. It's been nice having you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook pages, follow the discussion, follow the trend, and of course, you'll be on top of the information. Is bye from us from here till we come your way again next time. Yeah, we really like to say stay safe and stay healthy. Bye from us from now.